This town is called Cashel in County Tipperary. This particular spot is known as the Rock of Cashel, which was where the kings of Munster ruled. It was here that St. Patrick converted the pagan king to Catholicism. Nothing remains of the early fortress, but a round tower, chapel, and cathedral which date back over 800 years survive today. The cathedral was gutted and badly damaged by Cromwellian forces, and all that remains is the structure and stone carvings. Most of the graves are recent and less than 200 years old. Only local families were permitted to be buried here, and there are only a handful of people still alive who are eligible. Admission is relatively cheap, but a tour of the chapel costs extra. Just a short walk from the main attraction will take you to the pastures where the cows are grazing. Across the street there is an abandoned abbey that is free to explore and is often tourist free. Now, it was pretty windy when we visited, so I would definitely recommend dressing warm or wearing a windbreaker. The cold doesn't bother me too much, so I was just comfortable in a hoodie and shorts, but everybody's different, so I would definitely recommend bringing 2 layers just in case. And then also, the grounds surrounding the abbey are an active grazing field for cows, so do be careful of cow dung. Most of the places we stayed at during this trip was through Airbnb, and let me tell you, it was amazing. Airbnb provided us not only with local hosts, which provided us information about the area, but we also got to stay in their really old homes, which was absolutely incredible. This one in particular was in County Tipperary, near Cashel, about a 30-40 minute drive. But as you know, Irish roads can be quite treacherous. They made us breakfast, they made us dinner, and they even gave us a little tour of their property. Our next stop was Bunratty Castle in County Clare. An exceptional place to visit, Bunratty offers an authentic 15th century tower house and park with traditional Irish homes that were moved from different parts of the country. After a long day of sightseeing, we settled in for the night at a cottage on Lough Derg near Killaloe and enjoyed a nice scotch with a good pipe tobacco. The next day we headed for the cliffs of Moher. When visiting the cliffs, I recommend not parking at the visitor center because it's not the closest to the cliffs and there are tons of tourists and tour buses. Park at Gurn's Path instead, which is a locally owned parking lot right on the edge of the cliffs. It's cheaper than the visitor center and offers better views. We hiked to Hag's Head and back, which took about 2 hours in total. The day we visited was unusually windy with high gusts, so be prepared with good hiking shoes and appropriate clothing. Our next stop was visiting family near Waterford. We enjoyed the scenic drive and found a beautiful 15th century tower house to stay the night in. There were 2 other rooms in the castle, and the rooftop had spectacular views of the river shore and surrounding valley. Fresh milk from the on-site dairy farm was provided, and we went to the local butcher shop for steaks and sausages. Our last stop on this trip was Dublin, where we flew out from. The one thing that comes to mind when I think of Dublin is Guinness. Guinness is everywhere in Dublin, and it is one of the best experiences you will have. I highly recommend visiting Glasnevin Cemetery, where the founders of the Irish Republic are buried. This includes notable figures such as Eamon de Valera and Michael Collins, who were a major part of the country's foundation. Adjacent to the cemetery is what's known as the Gravediggers Pub, named for the gravediggers who would come here after their shifts to have a pint. Speaking of pints, you can pick one up for free at the Gravity Bar, located at the Guinness Storehouse. You don't get to see where the beer is made, but getting to have a free pint where Guinness comes from is well worth it. The last location we managed to see was Kilmainham Gaol, notorious for where 14 leaders of the 1916 Easter Rising were executed. Today, the prison serves as a remembrance site and museum to honor the struggles and perseverance of the Irish people. Ireland is a beautiful country for so many reasons, but the Irish people are what make it so special. Their resilience through 800 years of struggle for independence is what the spirit of Ireland is all about. The people we met were so hospitable, and the memories we made will always remain with us. I hope that this video will inspire you to plan a trip to Ireland, as it's well worth it. And as a thank you to all the people who made this trip unforgettable, Sláinte.